On the 20th of June, Star Stable Online, the very large horse MMO, finally launched the update for the characters. This update would delete all of our old characters and then replace them with the brand new models, which now offers diversity, variety, and expressions. Eventually. However, the problems with this update really have very little to do with the actual models. Whether you love or hate the models is really a moot point, as it comes down to a subjective taste, the value you place on the old model, and if you were ready for a change. All of these will be different for each person, and really, if you love the new models, more the power to you, and if you hate them, that's also fair. But the real problem is rather how the update was handled, and it wasn't handled well, as proven by these 4 issues: a missing body option, the poor timing, the absolute state of the update, and the chat room. And most of these issues could have been resolved if SSO had just had a little bit of foresight. But before we do get into that, I would just like to thank all of my wonderful coffee supporters for being more awesome than me finally getting my Hogwarts acceptance letter. Let's get into it. The main concern a lot of players have raised is that there are no skinny characters. They want to have a character that represents a fit young girl. That, and we have no boobs. Please give me a bump, SSO. Now, in the comment section, if you press this issue, you will be bombarded by defenders who will see this as an attack on thicker body types, calling you fatphobic and small-minded for not wanting to play as a larger body type. But they're not really understanding the issue. The real problem is that we don't have a body type that reasonably resembles the original. That's really it. A lot of players have a strong connection to this character, and wanting to have your new character at least somewhat resemble the old is not wrong or being mean-spirited. It's being emotionally connected. It's just a wish to have something to hold onto and to continue to have your old character and overall experience be resembled as closely as possible. Now, to be fair, they are going to be adding a body type like this in the future, but the problem is they should have made this a main priority. The original body type, or one that at least resembles it, should have been a first option with this update, because it is part of the game and part of many players' experiences and emotional connections. If they had added this from the get-go, most players would have been fine with the update, because it wouldn't have been such a drastic change and they could have at least had a character that resembled the old quite closely. Furthermore, if you've wasted your first edit for your new character right now, chances are good if you want to change your body to this new version that will be added later, you're going to have to pay star coins. Now, I can't confirm this, we'll have to wait and see if this happens, but if that is the case though, it will just add more fuel to the fire, as a lot of players might not have been aware that the body types are still in the works, and it might come across as keeping something you know players will want in order to make money off it later. Hopefully though, it will get added without needing to pay star coins for it, and this problem will be sorted out very easily. We'll have to wait and see. Now, the next big problem is the state of the game. To be quite frank, it's in an absolute state. The players' feet don't actually go into the stirrups, the animations are off, the cheeks look like they've been stuffed with cotton, the characters have no expression outside of the beauty salon, and we have a bug where players are standing on horses and taking a bow. I don't know if this is a sick joke or a promise to add vaulting, either way, it's hilarious. And then we have this.
Up and down, back and forth, faster, faster.
They should have held off until most of these issues were at least fixed. To top it off, they have had years upon years to do this right, and for some reason we get a very half-finished product. They are promising to fix this later, but unfortunately Star Stable is quite well known for not fixing problems or leaving them for months if not years before they do anything. Hopefully this will not be the case, as this is not a good visual for new players to have, let alone the old. This could turn people away from the game, because the bugs are now on full display. But if you think it stops there, think again. Currently there are players who can't even get into the game. It keeps crashing, even getting stuck at the launcher. It's a broken, buggy mess. As a result, players are getting more and more angry because this is affecting the current event that is running, the Rainbow Festival, which leads me into the next point. What is something we all know about Star Stable? That's right, it's buggy. Not something anyone can really deny. The game breaks, has bugs and glitches and a whole slew of issues that can literally swallow money or take away a stable full of horses. It's a mess, plain and simple. and something that has been getting progressively worse, although to be fair, they are working on fixing it. But my question is this: if you know your game is buggy, why drop a big update on top of a current big update, the event that is still running? The event itself already has problems. Why drop the character update into a mess? Because now they have to sort out not only the characters but also the event. It's really bizarre, and if I'd been SSO, I would have extended this launch at least until after the event to ensure I wasn't being drowned in bug reports or accidentally preventing my players from actually playing the event because they can't log in. As a result, the attention is now being pulled into two different directions, and it's possible we're going to wait even longer before problems are going to get fixed, because they have two big updates they need to juggle, on top of the usual problems the game spits out. But surprisingly, this is actually not the biggest mistake they made with this update, and really, I don't understand their logic in this section. With the launch of the bigger body types, a very obvious problem reared its head. Players started to bully other players in games for choosing a bigger body type. This is absolutely unsurprising. Kids are gonna kids, and the chat system in SSO has been atrocious for a very long time, so the fact that kids are getting bullied is unfortunately not a really big surprise. The actual problem is that very little is being done about this bullying, and there was no foresight. Players are reporting instances of bullying, but SSO has no chat moderators in-game. They only have a very, and I quote, sophisticated chat AI, which has been proven not to be very effective as shown by these screens. A lot gets through, and this shifts from server to server about how bad it is. As a result, most of these kids are being left to defend themselves in these chat rooms. Essentially, there is no human help in-game. Now, Star Stable did write a response to all of this, about the bullying and the harassing, but I'll get to that in a bit. First though, I want to talk about Fortnite. Please bear with me. In an article from Polygon in 2019, it was reported that kids were being bullied in Fortnite for not having expensive skins. Essentially, kids who played with default skins were bullied for being basic, and they were called lesser players. As terrible as this is, and I despise this is normal. Kids will bully, especially if they can do so without being called out for it. And very few of these kids are being called out in SSO. But the reason why I bring up this article is to showcase that this is nothing new. This is part of a game where you have kids as your main target audience. They will find ways to bully, especially if it's about your physical appearance. SSO made body types that are susceptible to this, and they did not put anything in place to protect players from bullies. Anyone who chooses a bigger body type is going to be harassed and bullied. And why not? Kids are cruel. And if they're going to bully you about cheap skins, why in the world would they not bully you for picking a body type that is an easy target? Most adults won't, of course not, but you have a large player base of kids, by everyone's admission. So even though you have these wonderful body choices, most kids are going to be picking these slimmer options to specifically avoid bullying, which makes these new body types a moot option. But can you imagine this for a second? You're a bigger girl and you get bullied in school for being a little bigger. And then you have Star Stable, which was your safe little haven for years. You finally have the option to choose a body type that resembles you. And then you just get bullied online for that as well. And there is no one there to defend or protect you. Now, in the process of making this video, SSO responded, or rather mentioned, the bullying that had been going on. There is one paragraph in particular I would like to focus on. In the game, we have a chat filter that monitors and moderates our chat to keep our users safe, but an increase in incidents has made it more difficult to catch every issue. We are continuously working to improve this filter. If you see something that seems like bullying, we urge you to report it to our support team. We look into every single report and take appropriate action. Now, a lot of people praised SSO for finally addressing the situation, because to be quite frank, the bullying and harassment had been getting to a point where it was absolutely ridiculous and quite frankly shameful for this community. But this is the part that stood out to me the most in this post. Instead of promising to add more chat moderators or to be active in protecting kids from both bullies and hunters, they decided instead to essentially shove the responsibility of cleaning up the chat onto the players. Why should it fall onto us to continuously report? Why not put people in-game to keep an eye on the situation? How, SSO, is your community inclusive and safe when this is the state of your chat rooms? When this has been the state of your chat room for years? And this is after years of players struggling to get you to take action against these types of comments and players. And after years of reporting these instances with little to no reaction from you, you are now asking us to suddenly trust that you guys will do something and that you care about what's going on in your global chat. Here's a better idea. Drop the damn AI and get proper chat moderation in your game. This isn't a joke anymore. You put kids in the position of getting bullied by giving them a bigger body type, and you did not lay down any sort of plan to protect those kids. Anyone who has spent a moderate amount of time on the internet could have told you this would have happened in a game where your target audience are kids. Kids are some of the cruelest bullies you will ever have in your life, and you did not put any protection down for them. And it's so damned ironic. Not a year ago, they started this Reclaim Horse Girl or Ride With Us campaign, where it was all about horse girls getting bullied and that this is unacceptable and we should all stand up to bullies and Star Stable does not condone bullies and horse girls are amazing, which was such a nice thought and such a nice concept, but it fell through completely when they didn't think to push this through into their own game and apply a proper protection for their players. Apparently, SSO only combats bullies outside of their game. I'm getting worked up and I do apologize, but it's egregious and ugly and so bitterly unfair to the kids who are victims in this. You owe them protection. You owe them the time to defend them. Please stop putting all your trust in a broken AI and help your players to feel safe in a space they've used as an escape for years.